There's the microphone. Bring the music down. Waiting for our friend Darwin to call in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is John. This is my channel, Your Renaissance Man. It is, March 20th, 2026. Friday here in the United States. These here United States of America. We're going to talk a little news today with Darwin. It looks like he is just about here. There we go. Hey, buddy. Let me turn your microphone on. There we go.
I am trying to get my my speakers to work here.
I even did this neat little thing that prints your name on the screen and puts the name of your channel
I
on
gotta
there.
check my. It's been so long since we've done this. I see bars moving, but your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. Let me just
I
check on
see your
my
lips
settings
moving.
here. I may have.
I hear you. I hear you. And now it looks like you're probably not connected anymore. Anyways, let's turn him off for a minute. Get him back out. Let's see if he can call back in. And anyways, while Darwin gets his technical stuff figured out, maybe he's going to have to call back in. I'm not sure. Anyways, we're going to talk about some news today. And Darwin is, whoa. Hey, camera. Nice thing about that auto tracking is it follows everything. So you get sharp moves. It just wants to go all over the place. But anyways, Darwin is down in the Caribbean. His channel is Seidr Soul Sailing. And he lives on a catamaran in the Caribbean right now. And he is preparing to cross the Atlantic right now. And I think he's going to sail to Norway, I believe. We had a few news things happen within the last several hours. The one, the only, the legend, Chuck Norris passed away. Definitely a legend in the film industry, action, one of your earliest action heroes on the big screen. This is one of my favorite roles. He played a character called Lone Wolf McQuaid, who was a Texas Ranger, and they appropriately called Lone Wolf because he didn't want a partner and he'll solve it all himself and da-da-da-da-da. And he drove this Dodge Power Wagon, and in the movie, he's buried in the sand, and it's got a supercharger on it that's gear drive with a switch, and he turns it on, and the bad guys try to bury him to death in his Ram Charger, and then he starts it up barely alive and powers out of his grave, basically. And that's kind of the turning point of the movie where you think he's done, and then he powers out of it and saves the day and all that good stuff. Definitely an inspiration to a lot of people in martial arts. He seemed to be a pretty good person in the real world, unlike some Hollywood people. So got to admire him for that. Tried to do some good with his life. Yesterday there was a story about that he had got hurt or injured or something. Not sure what led to that, and then hours ago we got notice that he passed away. And he passed away at 86 years old. So pretty full life. And for somebody who had a lot of physical stuff, meaning stunts and all that stuff, it's probably a pretty long life for somebody who physically uses their body every day like that. So yeah. If you want, in the comments, leave your favorite Chuck Norris movie. That would be interesting. Curious what people have to say about him. What else is in the news? What else do we have yesterday? Oh, the Trump has been leaning on other nations to help out, and especially with ship escort through the Strait of Hormuz in Iran. and he got Six Nations yesterday. One of being Japan, because Japan's prime minister was visiting, and I forgot the other nations. UK, France. What else was there? Venezuela. No, not Venezuela. Argentina. Yeah. So he's getting countries to help commit with ship escorts to the Strait of Hormuz to reopen shipping, because it's been it's basically been shut down due to the Iran war. He met with like I said, the Prime Minister of Japan yesterday. That was interesting. One of the reporters asked something in regards to why he didn't notify Trump, why he didn't notify Congress or whatever about his attack in Iran. And he used that as a opportunity to make a joke about Pearl Harbor and in front of the Japanese prime minister, which caught her off guard. You can see the look on her face was, I'm not sure if I should smirk, laugh, just look straight into the camera or what. And, Trump is definitely a shoot from the hip type person. So it definitely wasn't thought out. It just popped in his head and he let her fly. And when he was asked about, why didn't you let Congress know about attacking Iran? And he's like, he thought it was ironic because here's the prime minister of Japan. He goes, why didn't Japan let us know about Pearl Harbor? Why would you let anybody know about an attack? Because they'll find out. Then it won't be a surprise, basically. And anyways, another great audio take from Trump. You'll have to look that one up. I don't have that one available to me, but yeah. So let's see if Darwin's working on his technical stuff. See if we can get him to.
Okay, calling back.
Can you hear me? I can hear
Barely,
you. I can hear you.
barely. Let me check if there's
Sure.
if the volume got screwed up in this.
Sure.
Oh,
So,
you know what? I can hear you without the headpiece. Am I echoing like hell now?
hold on. I got to go back to my problem that I forgot to resolve last time was when I have a guest, I have to plug my headphones so where I hear you directly. Okay, say something.
I can hear you, but I gotta check. I'm gonna check my
Okay,
my speaker and see if
sure.
um
Anyways, Darwin's there. He's working on some technical issues. We'll see if we get him see if we can get his situation resolved. See, it looks like he looks like he's frozen. It doesn't look like he's connected again. I love technology. Although, I mean, for all the problems and all the little quirks that we have with technology, I'm able to talk to him in the Caribbean on the back of a sailboat. Imagine trying to do that. I don't know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, for sure. It'd be a kind of a magical moment to be able to try that at all. But anyways, we've had trying to iron some bugs out on that to get it to work better, make it a little more fluid. And here he is again. So how you doing? Say something. Can you hear me?
coming through my phone and not my headphones. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, we had that last time. I was trying to remember what the secret was. Did you have to refresh something? Like how you
My I think the problem might be with my my headset because I can hear you on my phone, but
right. Oh, so maybe your
okay.
maybe it's not connecting. Maybe you're how
No,
about
no,
now?
I
Oh.
got it to go now. Yeah. I'm
Hey,
good now.
look at this
Hey.
little thing. I even made a little thing for your name. I put at the bottom of the screen and your channel. Ain't I a techie?
I I had I had eight 8,000, almost 8,300 viewers a couple of days ago, and it got taken down for nudity. Some cunt keeps reporting me for nudity because I film right after I swim. Right now, I got a shirt on, not because I'm afraid of that cunt blocking me, but because it's freaking cold and shitty here.
Do you know who the
It's
person is?
no,
Oh, because
yeah,
you can block people from your channel. If you can figure out who it is, you
you
can
know, I
block them.
don't care. It's probably some fucking Israeli cunt,
Oh yeah, it's somebody that
uh,
doesn't agree with
like
you, I'm sure.
IDF troll or something, you know, or somebody that just suckles his dinner from Donald Trump's ADAs, you know, somebody that doesn't have the little tiny testicles to
Uh-huh.
own his personal sovereignty, so he needs Big Daddy, Sky Daddy Trump to come and save his fucking spineless worm of an ass, you know.
Oh
Um,
man.
so yeah, but you know that's not the point. You know, I thought about this. I gave this a lot of thought. Um, Here's something I don't really talk about too much because it's real and it's dangerous, and I've never written about it. I started to write a book about it last fall. It's about using magic, and the reason I don't talk about it too much is because it's like really hard to do without imposing on other people's personal sovereignty. It's like you can put love spells on people,
Right.
but you can't. But talk about imposing on somebody's personal sovereignty. If they don't love you, making them love you is it's just how much more can you impose to like go at their heart, you know? But that's a good example. But you can also kill people. You can
S-
kill people with magic spells, and all you
Sticks
got to do is put a seed.
Sticks and Hammers talked about that multiple times on his channel too. Yeah. Putting spells on
And
people.
I know how to, yeah, I know how to do it. I I have maybe done it 3 times in my life, so I probably got some nasty karma. Twice I quit jobs partly because I had these heinous bosses. One was at a publishing house and one was at a newspaper, and both uh, I kind of I kind of put a spell on them when I left in my exit interview because I knew a lot of shit that they were too stupid to realize that I knew. Because stupid people assume everybody is as dumb as they are, you know.
We talked
So
about that recently, didn't we?
yeah, both of them died within a year, and they
Wow.
both drank themselves to death.
You weren't
They were both raging alcoholics, and they just pretty much drank themselves to death. But they both got fired after my exit interviews.
you
They
weren't
both
upset
lost their
you weren't
jobs.
upset with Chuck Norris, were you?
So is he okay? Did he die?
He passed away today. Yeah, Chuck is dead, 86 years old. I saw a notice
Well,
last night of something like him
86.
having an injury or something like that. And then early this morning on my way to the dock, there was rest in peace Chuck Norris. And it's like, and I looked it up a little deeper and it's like, yeah, he passed away. So, you know, if he did like the old break the hip thing and then die or whatever, but didn't really have a deep explanation. So I don't know if like maybe he had an episode and then he fell or if the physical fall killed him. You know, there's still more details we're not aware of, but
I was thinking about, I was thinking, you know, I could put a spell on whoever's doing this to me by just planting a seed. A spell is a seed you plant in somebody's head,
sure.
and and just them thinking about it makes the seed grow.
Right.
And and I was thinking, I mean, I wasn't
It's
really thinking about like killing
it's
them.
right. It's basically the power of suggestion.
It's exactly the power. That's what magic is.
Right.
But it's way more powerful than anybody realizes. I mean, when you tell yourself you can't do something, you cast a spell on yourself that works 100% of the time.
Oh, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
positive attitude is what gets you success. If you can defeat yourself in your own mind easily. There's millions of people that struggle with that.
do you remember my crash at Brainerd? Probably do.
No, I wasn't there. I mean, I remember that time in history, but I wasn't there.
You were there that weekend.
Were they?
It was
Was that the
the
maybe? I don't.
yeah, because we went out that weekend. We went out. It was you, me, Pat Hahn, Birch was there,
Tex.
and you were doing mushrooms.
No, that wasn't
We
me,
went out
dude. No,
to
that wasn't me.
no, it was
Uh-uh.
it was you. It was
No,
you.
that one was not me then. No, dude. I
Uh,
honestly, I'm a Boy Scout with that stuff. That wasn't me, honestly. Yeah, that wasn't.
oh, maybe it was
Uh,
me. Maybe it was me.
yeah, maybe you don't remember all the details. No, I remember being
No,
up there a weekend with my camper, but I remember a lot of the crew there, and we had had the big bonfire like Friday night or whatever. But I don't remember everybody that was there. But I was there with my
that was
wife,
the endurance. That was the endurance race, right?
no,
No, okay. I'm
dude, oh
yeah,
man,
okay.
that's 30 years ago. That's 30. Think about it, that's 30 years ago now. That's getting hard to.
Oh, come on. That was only 23 years ago. Don't date us that old.
That had to be
Uh,
the 90s. No, that wasn't in 2000s, was it?
no,
Or
it
we?
was 2003. It was the
Oh,
weekend
okay.
Johnny Cash died.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
It was yeah, it was the weekend Johnny Cash died.
Who are you sadder
No,
about,
I was
Who are you sadder about dying, Johnny Cash or Chuck Norris?
Johnny Cash. I love Johnny Cash. I saw him in
Yeah.
'94 when he opened.
Well,
Or he
music.
no, he was the at
Well, plus music is much more influential because it's something you can be reminded of daily, whereas bit roles in movies are just every time you watch the movie, which is not, you may watch the same movie, a fun movie, maybe multiple times in one life, but not a song you can listen to
after
every
my
day.
my body was really fucked up after my crash, really bad. And all these people were telling me I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that and I couldn't do this. I was like, go tell yourself that. I'm going to do what I'm going to do,
Uh huh.
And I have. I mean, technically, my body's, and some things are difficult. Like, if I got to crawl around inside the engine compartment, which is actually pretty roomy compared to my old boat. I got two of them here, and
Right.
hell, I've had smaller apartments. But
Right.
but it's still really difficult for me with my legs all fucked up to move around down there. It just takes a long time because my legs don't bend, my feet don't bend. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But I still do it. It's just because you tell yourself you can't. It's 100% effective spell. You
it
just sit on
is.
the goddamn couch till you bloat and die
Yes.
of fucking suddenly
Yes.
die of
And then, right. And then
clots.
and you notice how contagious it is when you're around a person that has all this negative energy. I can't be around them anymore. It's like, you got to get out of my space. I'm going to get sucked into your misery. I can't do it. I can't listen to self defeatists anymore. I can't stomach it. I get sucked in. It's like, no, you got to go away. I can't deal with this. You got to, yeah. It's toxic. It's really toxic.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you 100%. That's here's one thing. I'm gonna just show you where I am at right now.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Mille Lacs.
Yeah. Well, it's actually that's why I have a shirt on.
Because it's
I
colder
I was
today.
in the
It's not-
I just came outside for the first time today because it just started. It rained really hard and got cold and windy and um,
So what do you mean
I
by
got crew
cold?
coming tomorrow.
What do you mean by cold?
Uh,
60s or even colder?
no, like 74 maybe 73.
That's gonna be our high on Saturday. We're supposed to crack 70 on Saturday. So that for us
Oh wow.
in the middle of March, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
we just had a minor snowstorm a few days ago too. So it's probably gonna lose all our snow for the second time.
when you're used to the mid 80s every single day, and we had a hot spell. It was like 90 for about 2 or 3 days. So I was swimming a lot, and yeah, and I was just some guy and I had 8.2 thousand views on my video. It was a really good one. It was my best ever. It was my biggest number ever, and that was like 2 days ago, and. And somebody got it was a good video. He got it pulled down for nudity. He did me 2 days in a row. The first time they reinstated me, the second day they kept it off. They said, you haven't violated anything and we're not holding anything against you, but the video's been deleted. It's like, and I thought, and I mean, I really wasn't thinking about cast a spell on this guy, but I thought, okay, he's violating my personal sovereignty. Is this bad enough that I can
Right.
violate his personal sovereignty? And not to the point of killing him.
Not yet.
Not yet. Now, if you could give me whatever demonic creature is in charge of Google,
Yeah.
that's a different story,
Uh-huh.
I mean, these people are the techno fascists, whatever you want to call them, the Peter Thiel crowd, and we should have had I mean, we did. When when Trump had those people sitting at him at his inauguration, sitting beside him, these people are demonic. They're like satanic. They're so bad. And he was telling us what he was going to do.
Right.
And then the whole Pam Bondi. Oh, we can't go after the demonic pedophiles that are
There'd be nobody left
in the Epstein files, because we need them for the world for the economic system to keep functioning. Well, there you go.
Back to our worst fear that's always been well known by everybody is money pays the bills, so money gets to do what it wants.
I mean, there's these groups. We could call them the Illuminati. We could call them the Zionists, whatever. The Christian Zionists, the Kabbalistic Zionists. It doesn't matter. They all are. The more I think it gets, whatever, for whatever reason, it's becoming clear what their plan is. It's that Greater Israel Project. And they are in the process. For that to happen, they have to have, because they want, I mean, whether you want Jesus to come out of his hidey hole if he sees the temple dome or whatever, the Muslim temple that's on the Temple Mound where they want to build the third temple of David. If that's there, he'll see his shadow go back into his hole for 2,000 years. I mean, it's or the Shabbat, whatever they are. The extremist version, the Jewish version of that, they think they're going to bring Jesus or the Messiah for the first time. It doesn't matter, but they think, what really is kind of weird? They actually, in their demonic, satanic hearts, they think they're doing the right thing.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing that just drives me nuts is the people that are in those positions. They didn't get there on their own. They're propped up there because they're obviously easily manipulated, easily controlled. Because if they were smart, at some point they would come up with their own mind, whether it be something that's more in line with us or deviate in another direction, and then they would just not answer to anybody. So obviously somebody's paying their bills. Somebody put them there. Because look at the Democrats right now. They are so highly fine-tuned, orchestrated. It's like everybody reads the same email every morning, and this is our bullet points today, and we're all going to do this, and we're all going to vote the same on this. They're a hostile takeover. They're a military within the a foreign power or whatever. You know what I mean? They're just highly structured, and the Democrats.
But they all are though.
Yeah,
You're right. You're 100% right.
The Republicans aren't And the Republicans are so loose knit. You know, there's a lot of bad ones. I mean, they're all bad, and all politicians are bad, but you know, the Republicans, you got more independent free thinker types, which some of them are good, but I don't know. And then you've got the
You
what they
know,
call, then you got the true rhinos, which is like, yeah, some Democrat put them there because you're just voting on Democrat lines and you're carrying the right, you know, the Republican ticket or the name, you know, just to put the R after your name. So
though, I would say that anybody that advocates for personal sovereignty to any outside force is is brain damaged. Is they're mentally ill.
sure.
Um, but it doesn't matter if it's orange Jesus or blue Jesus
Right, right,
or red
right,
Jesus or rhino Jesus or whatever.
right.
And I don't mean and religion is the same way, but religion is not the same as spirituality. I've been reading a lot of these the Gnostic
Right.
texts. You know, the name of my book is the Slew Gods, a Gnostic grimoire. It's like a Gnostic spell book, but it's how to put a positive spell on yourself for
Sure.
healing
Sure.
and 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 you know, there's a term that I really like, Christ consciousness. It's like, and that's if you start reading what if okay, like I got a King James Bible that's got all the actual words of Christ in red letters. If you took all the actual red letter shit from the Christian Bible
Yes.
and you know the stuff that Jesus actually said and put it in a book, it's a different goddamn book than the Bible because you know he didn't talk anything about the you know he was telling you to go inside yourself. The best he and the Gnostic um, uh, gospels, like the stuff that the Catholic Church cut out because it
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
people too hard to control if they were believing
Yep.
that shit at
Yep.
the Council of Nicaea.
Yep.
Uh, that's all it is. It's like, I mean, it could be boiled down to one thing. Well, two things. One is um, seek not the kingdom of heaven outside of yourself because the kingdom of heaven is within yourself. Don't
Sure.
go outside for salvation, go inside.
Right.
It's in your heart.
Right.
And the other thing is the golden rule: do unto others as you would
Yeah.
have others do
Yep.
unto you.
Yep.
And how you know if you're killing everybody that doesn't agree with you or attacking everybody that doesn't agree with you, if I'm casting spells on some twat on the internet, I'm not. You know, I'm doing unto others as he did unto me. I'm not doing as I would have them do unto me.
Right. It's not a malicious attack on some unsuspecting person. It's somebody that's already infected your life, you know? So do you defend yourself or do you let them continue to infect your life?
Yeah, but it's and I tell you
I
what,
mean, that goes under the
if he
eye for an eye, you know?
if somebody's attacking physical, like endangering my life, endangering my family's life, my community's life, my friend's life, my tribe's life, if somebody's a physical as genuine threat to somebody, myself or and myself, not because I care about living or dying, but myself because I need to stay alive to take care of some people
Mm-hmm.
and the people I need to take care of, the people I love. Yeah, I tell you what, you know, if I genuinely, if it wouldn't matter if it's goddamn, I don't know, I doubt Biden's actually alive. I don't think. I think by the time he was
Dude,
inaugurated, he was already a clone. They'd already put a clone in.
I don't
I
know
mean,
because I saw him speaking at Jesse Jackson's funeral, and it's like that's still him. Because man, he was so. You can tell if there's a double, the double is already cashed out and went home because the real Biden's been making appearances. Yeah, he couldn't.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah, he spoke at Jesse
Is he
Jackson's funeral.
actually?
He couldn't hold it together. He just looked like crap. And then Jesse Jackson's son or somebody kind of got pissed because Obama and Kamala and Biden kind of use it as a personal pulpit to project, and it's like, this is the funeral of my dad, not a place for you to get into politics. It wasn't heavy-handed, but it was really inappropriate.
Why is Camel Toe still around? I mean,
Dude,
Kamala.
okay, the recent polling in the Democrat Party for Democrat presidential candidate, she holds 31%. In second
Of
place,
what,
in second place is
32 people?
but second place is Gavin, and he's at half. He's at 16%. She is the forefront for
Wow.
the Democrat Party right now, which I'm glad, because she can sink her ship again for all I care. I mean, it gives the other side a chance to still make a difference, hopefully, because
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we're not going to be having even midterm elections. I think I I I think we did a video in 2023 where we predicted the 2024 elections would be the last elections. I think there's a good chance of it. Here's why. I don't know, but things are going not swimmingly in fucking Iran right now in Persian
right.
Gulf. If there's troops on the ground, and there's, historically we have accomplished regime change in other countries and subduing with just air power alone zero times.
Right.
And this isn't looking to be as like it's going to. What is it?
Did you see the executions in Iran yesterday, or was it early this morning? Did you see that story?
No,
Okay, so
what
there
happened?
so there was 3 male teenagers. One was a state wrestling star. I mean, so he was like a popular,
known.
yeah, in the Iranian culture, and they were protesting, and they arrested him for, I don't know if it was for protesting. I thought somebody said they were charged with killing a police officer, which that hasn't been substantiated. But anyways, so they were tried and hung already. And they were hung hung this morning.
So our regime change plan is going swimmingly well.
Well, and I don't totally disagree with you, but the other thing is they're going to flex hard before they crash. So, I mean, you're going to see some really shitty stuff like this, just to keep the people, hopefully keep them under your thumb, Like, here, we're going to kill this person that everybody knows, and who's the star of our country, and he's going against us. So boom, he's gone,
So I'll tell you what, you get rid of you kill another round of these fuckers, that the ones they install next time are going to be even worse.
Well, we're down to the third stringers now, so we're probably going to be using janitor. They're probably going to start using the janitors for their leadership eventually. They got to be running out of people. Because it did that. Did you see that attack they did in that hotel? I think it was 2 days ago. I think the leaders were held up in a hotel, and they had intel to find them. Israel sent a drone and pinpointed a motel room in the side of a building in Iran and wiped out like 8 or 9 of them or something like that. That was within the last couple of days.
So just imagine if this was happening in the United States. Somebody took out Trump, and then they took out Vance, and then they took out, I don't know, with Johnson or the fucking Hegseth, and
right.
You don't think they'd find fucking rat? You don't think that? The only way you're gonna get really drain the swamp is when Congress is in session. Send a nuclear, Nagasaki style,
Uh-huh.
and even then, every goddamn state house is filled with scum that would replace them.
Right. Uh-huh.
That's just. It's like, yeah, sure, you could. You know what, the shit you see about TV, like, yeah, they gonna kill this one, that one, whatever. fucking the goddamn fucking Zionists in Israel will buy that shit, but they're fucking retarded. Have you ever met those people? They are so fucking stupid. I mean, they got kind of a dumb animal cunning to them. Like they're dangerous, but they just have
Like
no.
AOC.
No. AOC doesn't have dumb animal cunning. AOC is just stupid. you know. Um, but you know who does have dumb animal cunning? That fucking what's her name? He was my representative when I was living in Minnesota. Uh, Married her brother or some goddamn thing.
Oh, I don't know who that Betty McCullum.
What's
I
her
don't
name?
know.
No. No. I lived in Elliott Park, um, Somalia.
Right. I don't remember
What the
anybody.
hell's her name? She's a goddamn Somali representative.
You mean Elon Omar, who's still in power.
Ilhan Omar. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
she's got
she's
say what you
savvy.
will, but she's got dumb. She's way shrewder than AOC.
Yes.
She's a lot more dangerous than AOC. I guarantee
Yes,
it.
she's like a young Hillary.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she's more like these. She's more like, and she probably is. I mean, she's probably from the same. You know, she probably is put into place by the same people that put JD Vance in place. And JD Vance is total fucking whore for the techno, uh, the
Right.
techno fascist takeover. And that's what they're working on. They don't care. They want to get rid of as many of us as they can. And if they can get, okay, here's the plan for the U.S. So what they got to do to make this, to bring back the third Temple of David bullshit is they have to. It's going to be a war between. It's got to be a war between Russia and Iran and Israel. Actually, they want Israel to lose because according to the prophecy, um, that's Gog and Magog. That's the when you Russia and Iran are Gog and Magog, and they got to attack the Israel, and they've got to lose because when Israel is getting destroyed by Gog and Magog, that's when Messiah comes to rescue their dumbasses. It's Shabbat. I'll look it up, and God, I should have wrote it down. But it's sort of the Talmudic end times, and the Christian Zionists think the same thing. They got the same prerequisites for Jesus coming back. And never mind that if you read what Jesus actually said, it's like polar opposite of everything these so-called Christian Zionists are doing. It's opposite. I mean, they're at the goddamn opposite end of the spectrum. But
Mm-hmm.
so they need to. Okay, China in the biblical, of course it wasn't, but they didn't even know about these peoples. How could they be? Uh, but in the Zionist prophecies and the Greater Israel prophecies about Gog and Magog and all that, they it doesn't even mention the Americas or China. Well, the Babylonians that wrote this shit fucking 5,000 years ago didn't
Right.
know about China, and
Right.
so how could it be? Um,
Right.
but but their interpretation of it, and JD Vance and that Pete Hegseth and all those people, they really believe this shit. That's why it isn't that Israel controls the U.S. with the Epstein shit. You know why they were raping all the children with Epstein? Epstein was working on their money supply. He was money launderer. The reason that they had all the child rape is because that's what they do for fun.
Right.
That was just entertainment.
Right. It's right.
Their real thing.
It's reaching a level of wealth, and it's like I can already afford to do anything. What's the next thing that I could do? You get bored with your success. You run out of things, and it's just like expanding outward, and it's like And you really get into some crazy shit like what they're doing. And it's like, it's not enough to be able to travel and visit the whole world anymore. It's not to be able to have the freedom to do whatever you want within reason. It's like, now we're going to dabble in the taboo and the stuff, you know?
Yeah, and these people that have these sniveling worms that have abdicated their personal sovereignty to somebody, and I don't give a shit if it's fucking Kamala Harris or Donald Trump or JD Vance or goddamn I don't know, God, uh, Ronald McDonald. It doesn't fucking matter because it's some clown, but it's um, they're they're saying that we have to protect the Gulf Coast Coalition countries, the GCC, and we do because we really do because they control the petrodollar because that's OPEC.
Right.
That's who controls the petrodollar's dead. The U.S. economy is dead. But the people in the U.S. that are saying that it's like, did you ever see the movie Taken with Liam
No,
Neeson with
I haven't
where he
seen that.
goes to rescue his daughter? It's actually pretty good. It's where he goes, I have a very specific skill set, and I'm going to use them on you. Uh, his daughter is she's a virgin, and she gets so they kidnap her and put her up in the auction in this Gulf, this like a guy from Qatar or something buys her and takes her on his yacht, and she's a college student. You know what? That's very true. That's hints at the truth. But the thing is, these people are all goddamn monstrous pedophiles. They're not buying college students. They're not buying 18-year-old virgins. They're
Right.
buying 8-year-old
Right. But
virgins.
it's like they graduated to that. You know what I mean? They were doing that shit 20 years ago, and then that got boring. You know what I mean? This
Well,
is something that
they
just
couldn't.
expands outward and just spirals.
I think they've been doing it. I think they've been doing it for thousands of years. To be
No, but I
honest,
mean, is they used to lure young girls away that were, young teenagers, adult women, and stuff like that. And then I think it just got younger, younger, younger. You know what I mean? It becomes more taboo. It becomes more
well,
exciting.
that's in the
And
upper
not to
middle
justify it, of
management.
course, but you know,
That's in the Bill and Hillary Clinton level of management. I think even when you get that high, I think they've been using children for many years because when they get much older than 5 or 6, their pituitary glands don't produce that much adrenochrome. Um, Seriously, I think that since recorded history, they've been like taking small children and sacrificing them, raping them, torturing them, and sacrificing them and extracting their adrenochrome because you got to extract the adrenochrome immediately when you execute them because it doesn't keep. I mean, you
sure,
gotta. Uh, that's what this stuff that come out of in the Epstein files about cannibalism. That's really what they're talking about. They're eating like their organs out of their brains and shit, right? And they're sacrificing them and eating parts of them right out of. I mean, look at the fucking Epstein files that are coming out. It's like these people are there. That's what they're talking about cannibalism. I mean, and the Justice Department is still not going after any of these people because it might upset the economy. Well, by God, choking off fucking 20% of the world's oil supply isn't having any kind of raising any kind of havoc with the economy, is it? You know, like
right,
that's not what they're worried about. They really are genuinely concerned with. I mean, this is all about destroying the United States, and Trump is in on it. It's like people people are saying, "Why is he doing this?" It's like destroying his legacy and stuff. It's like no, that his job. That's his task. He's part of that. You know, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is really involved with that Shabbat bullshit, that end times extremist Zionist shit.
mm-hmm,
That's why Bibi, I mean, his son-in-law, the Ivanka's husband. Uh, um, I mean, that's part. So he's just carrying out his role in the prophecy. He's the great destroyer, no doubt. He's the great. disruptor, the great chaos. But the goal is to they want to, and the reason that they I told you about when we were on that bus with us like 16 goddamn Brazilian hoodlums
Mm-hmm.
going to Mexico. That's how we got out of Mexico when they closed the borders down and shit. Or that's how we got out of Guatemala into Mexico in 2023.
Okay.
Um, was we caught a ride with this fucking coyote. This Mexican
Sure.
coyote was getting paid $50,000 a head to bring those people to Texas. And Soros was probably is Soros money, some way,
Right.
shape, or form being laundered, or dark money. Soros money is really our money that's just been laundered
Right.
through,
Right. Through NGOs and all that
fucking
stuff.
bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that was crazy shit, man. That was wild. Uh, the coyote, he wanted, that was a trip. But we got to Mexico.
Right.
We didn't have to pay him $50,000 a head. Um, the um, the the reason they brought all those people in, it really is the shit in Minneapolis. I did a video on this Civil War in Minneapolis, I think, about I don't know, a few weeks ago. That one got like 4.8 thousand views. I wasn't going up. I was going like 4,000 up to 5.2, and then I went up to 8.2, and then I got it taken down. I must have caught somebody's attention.
Yep.
Um, but the reading was about Civil War in the United States, and yeah, that's exactly what the whole shit in Minnesota is about. That's what bringing all these fucking and it wasn't like these weren't like family men going to get money for their families to work hard in the fields. These were fucking thugs. These were goddamn hoodlums. They were gangbangers,
Mm-hmm.
and um, the idea is just to create chaos, and that's what's going on all across Europe. In 2015, I was to Paris, and there was we couldn't walk. We were staying not too far from the Seine, but there was about a kilometer where we couldn't walk along the Seine because there was like 25, 30,000, I think, Syrian immigrants there. Maybe it was Syrian. Yeah, there was Syrian. There was probably some Libyan too, but they were like refugees. There was a refugee camp, and you couldn't go in it because it was too dangerous. It was like this like kilometer and a half of just tent city along the Seine.
So
Think of the chaos that.
just like Cedar Riverside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Much bigger than that, though. Much, much, much bigger and much more dangerous.
Right.
These were, and these weren't like the families you see fleeing. These were like mostly thugs,
Right.
and they're bringing, and that's
Right.
and it's
What the
the
media
rape gangs in the UK.
like what they've been calling military aged men or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought maybe they were bringing them in to fight wars if they couldn't get anybody to
No,
fight them. But no,
that's the ones they're
the
releasing from
whole
prisons. That's the ones they were releasing from prisons.
they want. This is all about. They want Europe. They want the what do you call it? The Anglophile world destroyed.
Right.
They want white people destroyed. And I'm not saying the white people are great and anybody else is bad. I'm not saying that at all. But they're bringing in the worst elements of
Right.
other cultures into
Yeah. Yeah.
the Anglo world
Right.
to destroy the Anglo world.
right. It's a virus.
Be-
Literally.
Because okay, with the Greater Israel Project, the biggest competitor to Greater Israel is the United States, and then and their vassal countries, which all of the European Union is just vassal states to the United States. Which I was happy when Trump put a fork in the goddamn NATO's ass and put a fork in the EU Council's ass. I was all for it. He could have done some good if he would have, instead of going in and doing what Netanyahu and that fucking Kushner piece of shit were telling him to do, to go throw away the United States with by losing a war with Iran. And it's gonna. I mean, if you know, the only reason the Vietnam War was strung out so long, you know why it lasted so long, and you can look this up. This is absolutely true. Is because the United States was selling weaponry to the fucking Russians. Soviet Union was turning around and funneling that weaponry down to the North Vietnamese. And the whole point was to keep the war going as long as possible because it was a money laundering operation.
Right. Trump's talked about that
Look
several
this up.
times. He says he goes, for the longest time, we didn't fight wars to win them. That's what he's always referring to. It was just keeping the machine lubricated with cash.
I'll tell you what, this war is not winnable with Iran for one reason. Iran is a fucking mountain fortress with 90 million people in it. Sure, you can piss off maybe 10 million of them that want to overthrow the fucking theocracy, but you're still going to have plenty of goddamn soldiers who will go and fight the invaders, whether they like the theocracy or not. And they've got fucking weapons way more than we do. You know why? Because Russia, China, and Iran all have one thing in common. They've been building a military and weaponry to fight a ground war. We've been building a military in the United States to make goddamn defense contractors trillions and trillions of dollars. We don't give a shit if it works. I mean, look at the goddamn the intercepts. We don't have it. We've used them all up. They had to go to South Korea. South Korea's pissed at us because we took all their fucking intercept missiles to protect them from North Korea and sent them to Israel. And the Gulf state countries are pissed off because we moved a whole bunch of them to Israel. And even with that, fucking Tel Aviv is getting leveled. They haven't attacked Jerusalem yet because Israel wants them to level Jerusalem. Then Iran takes out the temple, the whatever that temple is that they need to get blown up. Right. So there they go, and then they wait till they knock down the temple, and then they nuke Iran and they rebuild the temple. Win-win. But they also need the United States to be completely destroyed. The whole Anglo world, from the UK, Europe, but especially the United States, has to be destroyed. Because when they then they have Greater Israel, and Greater Israel can be the world superpower if the United States doesn't exist. And they have to, because they've got their Messiah coming, and their Messiah is going to help them. According to their prophecy, the Messiah will come and help them destroy Gog and Magog. That's Iran and Russia, and So their Messiah takes out Iran and Russia. The United States has destroyed itself with first the war in Iran, depleting its weaponry, and then civil war. Europe is just going to be like goddamn barbaric times. It's going to be like the Goths and the Visigoths,
Well, I mean, you understand Trump's tactic to Iran, don't you? I mean, what he's hoping will happen. I mean, ultimately, my understanding and what I think he's trying to do is every time they kind of flex and let's show that we're still there, U.S. hasn't done anything, that he wipes out the next regime. And I think he's hoping that eventually they'll wipe out enough people that the people will feel like, no, we can take our government back now. I think he's really thinks he's not going to be able to send troops in there. I don't think he really wants to, but I think that's his hope. I don't know that it'll work. But
hope in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. Because he's doing what has never worked before, but he's making the same mistake over and over and expecting a different result.
Right. Well, except we're relying on a
And
lot
he's
better. We're relying on a
hoping.
lot better intelligence to pinpoint people, provided that we're actually killing people that make a difference. That's subjective.
It does make it a difference because every time they kill a round, the next round comes in, they're even fucking worse than the last one, more crazy than the last one.
Right.
So they get worse. They get more psycho every time. But hope in one hand, shit in the other, and then this time they're hoping for making the same mistake and getting a different result against a much stronger adversary than we've ever had before, militarily and socially
I don't. I
and,
don't.
and, and geographically.
I'm starting to wonder how much they have left because we've been bombing the hell out of them for weeks now.
And how is that working out for like the oil fields in Bahrain and Oman and
Well,
United Arab Emirates?
yesterday he's been working to get allied nations to aid with escorts through the Strait of Hormuz, and he's trying to reopen it.
Yeah.
And he
And
got
what did they tell him? They told him to go fuck himself.
he got he got 6 nations to commit themselves.
Which nations?
I believe it was the UK, France, Argentina, Italy. It was kind of the usual suspects, And he was
And they said
he was basically telling them, it's like, you guys are the ones that are going to benefit from this. You better start helping because we can't pay for it all ourselves, is what it kind of the interpretation I got from it. And he's leaning on them.
So what, are they going to give money? Have you looked at the state of the Argentinian economy right now?
Everybody's sending ships, so they have escort ships. So
we'll see.
Well, yeah, I know it's good intentions. Will it work? I don't know, but that's the intention.
Well, Iran still controls the mountains above the Strait of Hormuz, and they still got rockets up there. They still got missiles up there. So we'll see. We'll see how effective they are at opening it up. You know what's opening it up? Ships are getting through, but the ships that are getting through are those that agree to pay in Chinese yuan instead of petrodollar.
Right.
And what, like 16 countries have already said, fuck the petrodollar, we'll use yuan and get our goddamn oil.
Sure.
So what are they going to do? They're going to send in ships just to protect the ones that are paying with petrodollar.
I don't know. It's to get the oil flowing again. It's all in an attempt to get oil prices down by keeping the flow of oil going. So they say.
Yeah, how long was this shit supposed to last when we first discussed this like 3 weeks ago?
Nobody ever put a time limit on it. Trump didn't even stick his nose in that to say that.
Weren't they saying it'll be like 4 or 5 days? And weren't they talking about like 4 or 5 days at the beginning?
No, they weren't ever saying that quick. No, I didn't. Maybe there was news outlets predicting that, or somebody was. I never heard anything like that from the administration. They've been pretty cautious about putting timelines on things, because Trump's always been left. He's made a lot of open-ended responses, like, well, whatever it takes, that type of stuff.
Have you been watching some of the shit he's been saying?
Yes, and he's starting to feel like, I can see he looks like his body language, like he's kind of backed into a corner, and he's kind of spitting out stuff that sounds more desperate than on the ball type stuff.
Have you noticed some of it sounds genuinely goddamn disconnected from like reality?
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, some of it kind of sounds like, you guys are too impatient. Just let my thing play out, or something, is kind of the way it sounds like. Trust me, it's going to happen. And you can only say that so many times before people give up. But
people voted for him because he said he wasn't going to get us in any Middle East or Eastern wars, and he was going to release the Epstein files.
Right. Well, and they tried to vote down the war powers to stop this, and they couldn't get overwhelming support to stop the action. So there's enough people in Congress that want to keep this going.
Oh yeah, but my point is the people that voted for him because he was going to be the anti-war,
Well, did you see? Did you
war
see that?
president.
I know, but now this is polling that came out in CNN yesterday. You know what his support is from the MAGA crowd? You know, not just overall, just from the MAGA crowd. Did you see that polling yesterday? They're claiming
From
100%. This is from CNN.
CNN?
Yeah, it was a CNN poll. MAGA support is 100% behind Trump right now, which I never understand anybody saying 100% in any polling. So let's just say it's 90.
Well,
Let's just say it's over 90.
what percentage of the people that originally voted for him still identify as MAGA?
I don't know. I don't know how you define that. I mean, I voted for him. I don't call
So
myself MAGA, so I don't know. But I don't know. Whatever. I mean, yeah, you can
the
dissect. You can figure out ways to dissect it. I understand that.
I
But
mean, yeah. It's like Mark Twain said: "There's lies, damn lies, and statistics."
right. Well, and I talked about that in
uh,
one of my videos yesterday. It's like polling. It's like a lot of people like you and me. I don't like polling. They call me. I just hang up on them. I'm not going to give you information. Fuck you. I don't like polling. I don't trust what you're going to do with the information. So you're not going to get anything out of me. And then you see, you
I
know,
give
like,
shit.
well, yeah, you can also use it just to fuck with them. I understand that. But like when you look at the last elections, it always looked like Trump was way behind. And that's because people that are voting for him don't like polling. And so they skew the polling, which I love,
Um,
you know, because it screws up
and
strategery, you know.
this ties in completely with Mark Twain's other
Right,
observation: if voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it.
right.
I mean, you know, in there's no way, there's absolutely no way that Biden won in 2020.
Oh
Uh,
God, no. Just when you look at the graph, it's like, oh, you don't get a spike in votes like that. There's no way in hell. It
you
just
know, look at Bernie Sanders on election night. He was on, I don't know, what's one of
but
those goddamn
right, but
Zionist whores on.
back to the voting for a second. Just because it goes back to human psychology again, you know, it's like, but they get people to buy that fluctuation in the voting is like a miracle. But see, you're catering to people that are making emotional responses to everything. They don't, and that's a lot what's going on with the liberal minds. It's all emotion driven. So they don't care about the logic. No,
Well,
because it's a miracle. I don't care if it's mathematically impossible. It was just a miracle. And that just shows you that Trump was never meant to win and the liberals pulled through, you know, that kind of, and the logical or the emotional mind buys into that bullshit. And that's why you got such a strong presence on the liberal side right now, because they're catering to emotional responses versus logic, and they're empowering these people. And so now you're getting people just to empower themselves based off of feelings. And it's so fucking twisted and it doesn't hold any water, but there's enough people getting behind it now that they're making a difference, you know?
you know, it really doesn't matter who people get behind because the point isn't to get the people support behind this candidate or that candidate because
Right, right,
it's a
right.
fucking Illuminati running everything.
Well, it's
But
also right. It's to keep
but
the two. It's
the
also to keep the two in power that are there, and not allow an outside source.
no no outsiders even. I believe that. I believe that the sole purpose of Ross Perot was to get Bill Clinton elected so he can enact the Illuminati's New World Order, globalist, neoliberal, neoconservative agenda. But
Sure, but what?
the
But Bush wasn't exactly a good guy for conservatives or the Republican Party either. So, did it really
no,
help? Did it
but
really help?
conservative. The point is the whole point of politics is all of it. The whole point of religion, politics, all of it isn't about what they say because it's a shit show. The
Right.
whole point is to get people to abdicate their personal sovereignty to somebody outside themselves because that's their spine. It's like they take out their spine and they give their spine to their leader and they become like the late Mr. Loopner, tragically born without a spine, laying in a kitty bed for his whole life in his own feces. You know what I mean? They become worms. They go from being uh, sovereign human beings to being spineless worms. And it doesn't matter if you identify yourself as anytime you put some free packaged word like I am a Republican, I am a Democrat, I am a liberal, I am a
Sure.
conservative. You're not a you know what you are? You're a goddamn human being. You're a strong, powerful creature with a fucking brain in your head and a heart to steer you in the right direction. You know what's right or wrong. You know it's wrong to rape children. You know it's the stuff that these people that we give our sovereignty to think is like party party favors. You know, um, uh, we know what's right and wrong. We know that, but we forget about it. It's like it boils down to my pedophile demon worshiping pedophile politician is less evil than your demon worshiping pedophile politician.
Right.
And that's the point. That's what politics are there for. That's what religion is there for. I'm not talking about spirituality. I mean, you can follow the teachings of Christ, and it'll make your life a better place. But if you follow the dictates of religion, you're just giving your spine to another. Uh, I mean, they worship Baal, Molokai. Who's the other? What's the one that the the bull that they got statues of in all the world's
Oh.
financial district?
Oh.
Uh, I forget. Well, that's Baal or whatever. It's pretty interesting, I mean, the reason that the Israelites, there were no Jews. That was never a thing. Jews were created. The concept of Jews were created after the fucking Council of Nicaea. They weren't Jews. They were Israelites, and they were. And the reason they kept getting in trouble is they kept worshiping a goddamn calf, Baal. They kept worshiping, you know, um, and they still are. Look at the fucking Wall Street, the bull market, the Baal market.
Mm-hmm.
It's the point is all of it. It doesn't matter. Like the stuff we're talking about, it's interesting and we're fascinated by it, but ultimately the real answer is to go inside ourselves and find our own strengths. If you're putting any artificial definition on yourself whatsoever, you're abdicating your humanity to Baal.
Sure.
So and then that's what and you know the and I get into discussing the minutia of it, but when we get to a certain point, it just I think the time is short. I mean, I think I think we're really looking at a. I think we're really looking at a. I think we're in the most dangerous period in history. I think our time for owning our personal sovereignty, to taking control of our own destinies, our own lives, is very short. I think a lot of people are going to die. And maybe a lot of them are already dead men walking because they've got clot gigantic plastic clots growing in their bloodstream, um, and maybe many more will die in wars or fighting in civil wars. Good Lord,
Right. Right.
I I won't talk about your plans, but I think they're good. They're solid. Of getting the fuck out of Dodge because you're far enough away from the city that you might be safe, but I think getting further. The Black Hawk Down era.
I don't. Something crashed.
Yeah, your voice got real dim all of a sudden.
I don't even know if we're on the air. Let's see. Yeah, it says we're still streaming. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. I
Says
had
we're
it.
still streaming.
Yeah, it still says live. The timer's still clicking. I don't know where my glitch was. I got a. I must have a bad cord around here somewhere that gets. I tug on it or
Now you
something.
sound good.
It's probably. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You
I'm trying.
know, have you ever played in a band?
No, it's always just been.
Whenever every single time you have some kind of a electrical fuck up on stage, like 99 out of 100 times it's a bad chord.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like I said last time, I don't buy cheap cords anymore. It just it creates so much chaos, especially when you got so much stuff connected. Then you got to hunt down one. It's like screw this. And then once you find it, I just throw it away. You don't nurse bad cords. You just shit can them and get fresh ones. And yeah, it it's such a nightmare,
I
or can be.
I've got a let's see, I paid about $125 for this phone in Guatemala, and that was a lot. That was like one of the more expensive phones. I could have got one for like 60 or 49 bucks. Um, but so I bought a good one for like 132 or something.
Sure.
And I bought the best headphones I could buy. They were like $36.
Right.
uh, um, but I've got good stuff too. But I actually I gave all my good equipment to a friend. I got my amps and my guitar still, but I don't have them on my boat.
I
Sure,
haven't.
love to have a couple of guitars and one amp. I tell you that.
I haven't even played guitar since my dad moved in, just because I know he doesn't care for that stuff. I haven't played guitar in almost 6 years.
Jeez, me either. About
I
8 years for me. I haven't played that much.
I mean, I know I miss it because now I'm to the point I don't realize how important it was for me because it's been so damn long, you know. But when you get back into it, it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have put that down. But
Uh, and uh, but there's but I was really getting at something in the to it. We I think we're really headed for. I'm not going to call it the end time. You ever listen to Terrence McKenna, the mushroom guru guy that died like in 2001?
no,
Um, he he uh, he was talking about, the internet was just a pretty fresh thing then. It was just something people had only had for about 5 6 years. It was nothing like it was now. There was no social media or smart. He died like five before the first iPhone came out. You know, so he didn't. That was a different. But he would. He said we were headed. He called it. He said we were headed for a fire in the madhouse at the end of time. And I think we are there. I think we're seeing the fire in the madhouse right now. I think the fire has been ignited, and it's we haven't realized that it's the whole shithouse going up in smoke yet. And I really think we're at the end of time. I don't know what it's going to be. If we're going to be like survivors in a post-apocalyptic world, or if they're going to, who knows? I mean, it could be anything. But I really think I think all this prepping stuff, this practice and this work we've done on our our firearms training, that kind of stuff, anything we've done for our physical health, our defensive abilities, I think is going to be very important right now. I think we are in the in the madhouse at the end of time, and I don't think it's going to. I don't think we're going to see midterm elections in the U.S.
You
I
think
mean,
it's
I
going to
think
happen that quick, huh?
this. Yeah, because here's another thing. You know about the urea?
What about it?
They don't talk about that in the media at all, like CNN or Fox.
In what regard?
This the in the UCC countries, that's where 30% of the world's urea is produced for fertilizer. Virtually, that's where the urea that they were using to make fertilizer in the Ukraine came from the Gulf Coast countries, and
Okay.
it all passed through the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
So,
Right.
what time of the year is it? What's
Right. They did talk about that. They talked about spring planting and how diesel's up and fertilizer's up and
that's it's because
well
those
let
people
me
that are
hold
the
on, hold on,
market
hold on, hold
based
on, hold on,
people
hold on,
are.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
I'm
Just
sorry. I'm
hold on a
sorry.
second. Just hold on a second. So I watched this video from a farmer, and he talking specifically on this topic. He says, remember this now. He says, when I go to sell my product, my crops, when I go to the grain elevator to whoever's buying my corn, my soybeans, they don't let me say, hey, my prices went up 20% this year. I got to get 20% more. He says, I get paid the same no matter what. He says, remember that. It is not going to the farmers. It's a reason to raise prices.
That's okay. I'm not advocating violence, but every time I hear somebody talk about like markets and like prices, I want to kick them in the fucking nuts really hard, really, really hard, just to wake them up because they're missing the whole fucking point. That's how the archons, that's how the Illuminati. It's another distraction they use. They get us to value everything in fiat currency, like your prices are going up. They're talking about the markets going up. It's That's a distraction, and the point is food. It's fucking food. It's the fucking shit you put in your pie hole to keep alive. And that's absolutely what it boils down to because 30% of the world's urea is not getting to the right now. It's got when does the fertilizer have to be ready? When's the planting taking place in the United States?
Soon as possible.
What time of the year?
April? I don't know. Soon as possible. May
April?
depends.
So when do they make all the fertilizer?
Last year?
When do
I
they
don't know.
crank up the fertile plant? No, it doesn't store that well.
Oh,
It's
so what?
it's not a it's
Six
not
month 6 month lead time? I don't know.
no, it's just in time marketing. They start cranking up the fertilizer plants just get going to top speed in February and March.
Okay.
So they have fresh fertilizer because fertilizer keeps as well as salt. If you
Well,
took
and
a
it's
build a
dangerous.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
dangerous
yeah.
to store.
So yeah, absolutely. So
ask Beirut, or
so
I mean,
if you wanted to create a famine, you would choke off the flow of. If you wanted to kill off more people than you killed with the death jabs and wars, you'd choke off the supply of urea in March.
sure.
30% of the world's urea is produced by the Gulf Coast countries. Virtually all the urea used in fertilizer in Europe is produced in Gulf Coast countries. So no fertilizer in March. What does that do to planting in April? Your two biggest costs in farming, say you got two, I'm going to just rough numbers. I'm sure it's gone up, but this is what it was. This is what it was 30, 40 years ago. Uh, to plant 2,000 acres, you needed about $500,000 operating loan in the 80s.
Okay.
Of that $500,000, roughly 2/3 of it went for diesel and fertilizer. Um, and then so you need and the fertilizer took your crop yields from like $20, 28 bushels an acre to 60 bushels an acre, right? So without it, you get like one third the 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 profit. So and you can't just raise the price on what you sell because you sell what the commodities markets offer you.
Right.
So if your wheat was going for $5 a bushel back then, and was going for but you got 60 or 70, 65% less, 66% less of it to sell because you didn't have fertilizer. And if it goes up $1, you but you so basically, um, without urea for fertilizer, your most profitable thing you can possibly do is not plant your crops, because all that's going to happen if you plant your crops is instead of making, say you were making 200 $150,000 net profit on those 2,000 acres. Instead, without fertilizer, you're going to go to like a $300,000 net loss on them. So uh, you've made like almost, by not planting a crop, you come out $500,000 ahead.
Right.
By not producing food. So what's gonna?
Which
So what?
food which we have a hard time getting rid of.
Never mind that. Let's just leave market talk out of this, because seriously, I mean, if I wasn't worried about like natural law and not imposing on anybody's personal sovereignty, part of me would just like to when people start talking, like I'm watching something about something serious, and they start talking about market prices and commodity and prices and start putting everything into terms of fiat currency. I just seriously, the bad part of me, the demonic part of me, wants to just line them up on a wall and shoot them in the back of the head because they're useless. Because it's because they're wasting my time. But fortunately, I don't. There'd be a lot. The world would be a pretty horrible place if I obeyed my basest, most demonic instincts. In fact,
you'd have nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
Well,
But see what I'm saying? My point is,
except for sailboat cat.
You know what's really going to make people shut the fuck up about markets? No food in their bellies. People always say Americans are complacent because they're fat and happy. Well, if they're not fat, they're not going to be pretty happy. You could be surprised at how not complacent hungry motherfuckers are. And we're talking about.
You should look at that Gene Simmons interview I posted on my timeline on Facebook this morning. So what country did he come from? Do you remember?
Gee, is he Israel?
Possibly. But anyways, he
He's
came
pretty.
he came here when he was like 8 years old or something, 7 years old. And his mom didn't speak English and she was accepted in, and he said, and he talked about how great it was to be. He's talking about how great it is to be here, because he goes, this is a place where everybody's got an abundant source of food in their own home. They got a refrigerator full of food. He says most of the world doesn't have that luxury. He says, and that to him, that's why America was the greatest country in the world. Is that's the one thing we don't ever have to worry about is food. Whether it's quality food, that's another thing. But that's usually the one thing we don't have a problem with. But that's, like you said, that's the one thing that could be a turning point for this country, for people to stand up. It's like, okay, not hit them where it actually hurts. High fuel prices, that's an inconvenience. You know what I mean?
So if yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is that's how they create civil war in the United States is hunger.
Right.
because people don't know what the fuck to do. How many people do you know in
that's when you see people get primal, because now you're
yeah.
fighting for basic survival, not you're pissed me off. You're the wrong religion. This is survival. This is what weeds out all the pieces of shit in the world that we don't really need, is the people that can't take care of themselves and are just a suck on life. They draw money, they draw oxygen, they draw food, and they give nothing in return, which we can use labels to describe millions of people that fit in that category. But
You know what?
you need a kind of a culling
Sorry.
of the herd anyways, though, you know?
What we're going to discover, though, is how much people that think they contribute by just moving ones and zeros around on spreadsheets that represent somebody else's imaginary fiat currency.
That's my
We're going
argument.
to find.
That's why my argument is they will never let it get to that point, because that's the point money doesn't have any value, and that's what they hold.
Who's they, though?
They don't want to be in it even. Well, the people with the most money. They don't want to be in it.
The Illuminati don't care, because their goal is that it's not about money. It's about money when you get to upper middle management. The people
I understand
we can
that
see,
part.
but the people they work for don't care.
Sure. But I
don't even think they're people.
Possibly. Yeah, I get your point. But what I'm getting at is, it's people with money don't want to be put on an even playing field. So they don't want that part of our society to ever collapse, because then it is truly the people who can fight and defend themselves are the ones who are going to rise above everybody else. And that's not the ones that are controlling the government and controlling the world. You know what I mean? And if all you can do to buy your safety is to buy it, well, if currency is worthless, you know what I mean? It goes back to the most basic way of life from when we crawled out of the water or whatever, the swamps, whatever shit you believe in. You know, nobody wants that, because then it puts intelligent people with means in power. You know.
But do you see that the Zionist agenda is one step above that? Because they want people to fight. They want people to. They don't care about money and power, because they believe they have a higher power.
Right. They want that to happen outside the walls of their kingdom. And we'll just.
No, they don't. They don't care. Their kingdom is right now. Their kingdom is fucking Greater Israel, and right now their kingdom is filled full of Arabs and fucking American soldiers and all kinds of shit they got to get rid of. And they're going to destroy that's the Greater Israel. That's their kingdom. Whether they're Christian Zionists or Hebrew Zionists or whatever, it doesn't matter. It isn't. It is. But I mean, all these people. That's exactly what Hegseth and Vance. They've been giving speeches about this shit for years. Watch what they say when they talk to uh, uh, Jewish groups. And I don't mean Jewish groups, but the extremists. I don't even mean the Orthodox, because the Orthodox Jews aren't behind this at all. You got to get into the real extremist, radical. This Shabbat Likud or something, Shabbat Likud or something. It's what Jared Kushner's involved with. They don't think like us. They're not thinking in the same terms. They're thinking, how's the word? Eschatologically. It's they're thinking in terms of gigantic, sweeping, religious terms of the end times. They really believe this is the end times, apocalyptic. So they don't give a fuck about fiat currency. They don't give a fuck about bankers, except the ones that are with them, the ones that are part of it. A lot of those people are, and they've been using a lot of the money they've been earning has been going into dark money to fund this whole project. It's we're in a war, but we're not in a war with the fucking Democrats or the. It
Right.
isn't going to be the
Right.
immigrants against the
Right.
natives. It's
We're not at war
we're
with
in
each
a
other. Right. Right.
we're in a war between humanity, all of humanity. It doesn't matter what religion, what skin pigmentation, what nationality, because nationalities mean nothing. We're in a war with between real humans and these fucking end time lunatics that are trying to destroy everything. And that's what this war is. This isn't about the. People are saying, why is Trump pissing away the petrodollar, pissing away U.S. hegemony, the hegemony of the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency? Because that's happening. That's not like that's present tense. That's not future going to happen. That's present tense happening right the fuck now. And they're like, why are you doing this? Why is he doing this? And this is the people that can do basic math, not the stupid cunts that identify as you know as
Experts.
some artificial label like whether it's MAGA or conservative or liberal or Democrat or Republican or fucking you know
Right.
Ragnarian. Uh, that's I made up religion in my book. uh, Dognarian is what I called it. The Church of Dog. And it's just, I just took all religion and I turned it upside down and had this lunatic guy make up his own religion. But the the it, and those people are cannon fodder. If you put any outside label on yourself other than human, you're going to be cannon fodder
Sure.
ultimately, because there's nobody in any of those. All of it's dogma. Like politics are dogmatic thought. Like you believe this philosophy or that philosophy. If you believe anything, believe in your own strength and your own self, and take care personally. You self responsibility. It's like in what you're talking about the drags on society. Yeah, it's because people have been. That's what the whole Great Society, Lyndon Johnson bullshit was. That's what the whole civil rights movement started out with, some good ideas, and it turned into just a way to make people addicted to the fucking government. You know, and that's what mega is. Just get people addicted to the orange Jesus instead of other Jesuses. And then
Right.
it turns
Right.
out he's working for the goddamn fucking Kushner crowd just like everybody else. And we and it's so critical right now. The survivors are going to be the people that just abandon dogmatic thought. 'Cause dogmatic thought is mental illness. Because when you buy into a dogma, if you will run into logic or reason, it's going to and if reality disagrees with what you've been believed, like reality is the fucking Iranians control the Strait of Hormuz right now, and we haven't gotten it back in 3 weeks. If your dogma says, "Yeah, we're going to win this war by doing what never worked before," yeah, when dogma interferes with you accepting what's right in front of your fucking face, um, then that dogma is a mental illness.
Right.
It's because it's interfering with it's making you accept um,
Well,
it's
it's
making
cult.
you have a psychotic break with
Well,
reality.
it's cult like. You're right.
It
You're
doesn't matter if it's a religion or politics or whatever.
right. Right.
So we
Right.
have to
Right. Well, it's
abandon
back to
dogma
back to what
completely.
you're talking about. You're surrendering yourself to somebody else. You're trusting them, their
Yes,
guidance, their leadership, whatever. You're giving away your
trust
independent. You're giving
yourself.
away your independent thought. Yeah.
How many people do you know that left to their own devices would rape a child of all your friends and stuff
That's
and your
such a.
family and people you love?
I don't. That's such a way out there thing. I would think that I would say zero because I think I would see some really psychological cues to say, that guy's not right, and I don't think he's should be in my world. because people that
The
would
people,
people on that level, they can't hide their shit. They're really broken, whatever, and it's usually pretty obvious to the outside world. And then they commit some heinous act, and like, yeah, I knew he's a person that would do that. So I think I can say with confidence, there's nobody in my circle that would do that.
yep, yeah, and but you start thinking about it. I think people prone to dogma are more likely to do that because once they have
Well,
that first
you're
psychotic
getting
break
down
with reality.
right. You're getting into the psyche of people who fall to peer pressure, basically. People
Yeah,
that aren't
yeah, yeah,
willing
yeah.
to stand up for their own beliefs and say, you know what, that's something I'm going to step aside on. And I'm going to say this about my son, which I'm really proud of. You know, at a pretty young age, like when he was like 9 or 10 or something, he came home early from playing with some friends. And I'm like, what's up? What happened? How come you're not hanging out with your buddies? Well, they were going to do some stuff that I really wasn't interested in. I didn't think I should be a part of. And he didn't really tell me what. And I'm just like, so I just praised him. I says, good. I'm glad that you're able to figure things out on your own and then stick to your own your own inner beliefs on stuff and just step away from it. And he still does that. And I'm like, and that's not something I went about on my own to teach. So it must have been by example because it sure wasn't from his mother. So it had to be from, or possibly from karate, because karate instills a lot of values like that. And he was in karate for several years. But, you know, there was a lot of positive reinforcement in his life to do the right thing and not question, you know, let somebody else question to you what right is, or you try to rewrite it in your mind and, you know, get you to change your view of it. He was good enough to step away from it on his own and not care what they thought, you know? So,
But there's another factor in that is he was in touch with his basic human decency.
right,
Sure, he got guidance
right.
and
Morals and convictions that he believes in.
but but he went with his own gut.
Right,
His his heart told him this is wrong.
right.
Didn't matter. You weren't there to tell him that.
No.
He made that decision,
And
and
and there was
as
no
an
outside influence that could steer him away from it. That's what I'm proud of, you know?
yeah, but you know, we all have that inside of us. We all have basic human decency. You know,
Right.
we get con. Have you ever listened to the
Right. And that's why
rap music in the last like
and that's why some of
10,
the stuff
20
they try to
years?
impose on us initially is so subtle. And it just kind of gradually pick away at it, you know, stuff that they've been introducing to us for years, decades, or whatever. And it's like you can always go back to a starting point where it's like, yeah, that was palatable. I could choke on that. And then it becomes, you know, they try to do the peer pressure thing. And it's like, yeah, but this is just the next step in that. And then they just, you know what I mean? And they just keep piling it on. And it's like they're learning the subtle art of getting public approval gradually over time versus forcing it down our throat hard initially. You know what I mean? They're learning the art of
Think
wearing.
how
Learning the art of wearing us down, creating dependence on them. So now we're at the point. So much time has passed where we can't, or at least we think in our mind we can't deviate from it. You know what I mean? So then it crushes the people that are just kind of on. Maybe they would have stood up for their own if they would have been proposed to this 10 years ago. It was presented to them this way, but now it's been 10 years of suckling the teat. It's like, well, I can't stop suckling the teat. This is just,
been a
you know,
lot longer than 10 years.
I get that,
I
but
think
you
it
know,
goes back. I think it goes back to the when we changed from being agrarian, like rural agrarian society, to being a urban industrialized societies.
oh
That was
god.
the first. That was when the dehumanization uh,
Well, so this,
literally
I got
became
a.
factory
There
for
was a
process.
there was another report that came out yesterday in the because New York City's just fallen to crap because many reasons, but one of the big reasons is they're trying to, you know, force socialism, and everybody with any wealth is leaving New York in droves. And Hochul was on the news yesterday pleading with people. It was funny because they had clips from her 2 years ago saying, screw you, you're not New Yorkers then. If you're not going to stand by us, fine, leave us. She was basically begging for millionaires to come back to New York. And what also came about from this was So the money New York is spending on the homeless, guess, see if you can guess what the dollar amount roughly is New York is spending per person or per homeless person, the amount of money they're, taking out of taxes or whatever. Guess the amount per homeless person is being delegated to one person. I mean, not that it's actually going to them, you know what I
I,
mean, but how much money they're
I'm going to
taking.
say $45,000.
Higher,
70,
higher.
130.
$81,000. Do you know what the do you know what the average income of a New Yorker is? The
69,000.
same. They could just give them
Oh,
81,000.
wow.
They could give them $81,000 directly, and now everybody would be at a baseline of $81,000.
I guarantee you one thing. Of that $81,000 per person,
Oh
I'm going
yeah,
to guess at least 79,000 are being funneled into dark money,
right.
laundered
I
in.
right. I agree with that, but it's just funny that they are. That's what the funding they're getting. They're getting $81,000 out of taxes per person. Of course, yeah, like you said, how much is going to that one individual?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all a big machine to funnel
Right,
dark money into this
right,
in this greater Israel project,
sure,
which is involves destroying the United States. So who cares if you destroy the people financially? I mean, that's the point.
right, right.
Uh, we that's why I
That's why they hate this the Bitcoin stuff and the new currency and all that stuff, because we were getting new millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires that weren't indoctrinated. Money people that all of a sudden fell into instant money and now have power. That's something that scares them. Like Elon, they want to be able to control Elon. Not that Elon's the best thing in the world, but he does have some free spirit. They don't like Elon because he kind of made his own success in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? He's not old money that was handed down.
actually he's old money. He's part of the. I think he's from the bloodline of 13 families.
Is he?
Yeah, yeah. His dad and his grandfather were both pretty heavy hitters. His mom too, I think.
Yeah, wasn't he raised by his mom? Dad wasn't involved or something, or dad died. I don't know what the story on his dad was, but
Yeah, I think
sounds like
I don't
dad
know.
wasn't in his life.
I guess when you're part of when you're connected to the 13 families that are the Illuminati, um, it I kind of you've got reptile DNA. You're today's today's reptile is tomorrow's cowboy boot.
Oh lordy, yeah, I hear you.
We really, I mean, all this other stuff. Keep tabs on it and stuff, and I do, but and cause I got some things going on in my life that I really need to focus on too. But I think today might be my last Seidr Soul Sailing video for a while. I got crew coming in tomorrow, and then I'll have crew living on board. We'll wait for a good weather window, and we're going to sail. We're going to go to another undisclosed third world location and get my stuff, and then we're going to go to another third world location, which the rest of the world calls Florida. and and then from there, I'm going to go to I'm going to head across some oceans, multiple oceans,
So
and
who is crossing with you?
oh, I mean, I don't know exactly when I'm going to be going across. So I can't line up a crew, but I hope. I mean, I will go alone if I have to. I can sail this boat alone, and I that route it would be dangerous. I would really like to have somebody with me, but I would if I'll go whether I solo or have a crew. But I've got crew. I think I got crew lined up for the first leg. They're coming tomorrow, and then I'll be able to pretty easily get crew to go to Florida because there's always somebody has got to get their ass to Florida, and then from Florida I should be. Here's the thing: it's going to be easier for me to find crew than last time because I got a much better boat than I used to have. Much more
Sure.
comfortable, easier to sail, safer.
How many people would you feel comfortable with? Like 3 more people, or what are you talking about as far as crew? I don't understand.
No, I would do. I'd go anywhere with just one. I got 2 people coming tomorrow. I got 3 bedrooms,
Sure.
so I got 3 cabins with queen size beds. But usually, dudes don't like to share beds.
Right.
Um,
Unless they were in
like
the unless they were in
you
the
know,
Navy. Unless they were in the Navy.
yeah. I mean, if I could find a if I could find a really cool gay couple that they'd have to wash their own sheets, though. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing their. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to know about what goes on in the cabin. Uh, what goes on in the cruise bunks stays in the
They
cruise
need
bunks as long as I don't got to wash the sheets, right?
they need to muffle the screams, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't even care about that because I got my captain's. The whole starboard hull is captain's cabin. It's so I got my own bathroom and office and bunk on one side, and they got 2 bunks in a bathroom on the other, and they'll have to work it out between them. But I mean, casino. If I had 2 couples, I could have a crew of 5.
Sure.
But I would be comfortable doing it with a crew of 2. This boat's easy enough to operate, and we'll be, when we get the sails set, we'll be once we're out in the trade winds, and we got to get going early enough to catch the trade winds. That's why I'm in a rush. But once we catch the trade winds, we don't have to do that much. We just, even when you're on, I will for night watches. I'll set a if I see on the horizon that there's no ships or on AIS no ships showing up, and you got to watch for shipping containers like that dumb movie, which is a real thing. Shipping containers are really a real danger.
Mm-hmm.
But but they're hard to see, man. You're fucked if you get hit one of those because a lot of times they're below the surface, just a little bit below the surface. So we're going to. I mean, I would do it alone because I would just sleep in the cockpit and set my alarm for like wake me up every 25 minutes to get up and look around and fall asleep again. And I'll go down. I'll go down. I don't go down. In a monohull, you go down in the cabin to cook and stuff. But here I'm up above the water. I'm up at the same level to do the whole.
Right. Right.
I can go in and cook, and I'm you know like I was down in a little cave uh, in my monohull, but on a catamaran, the cabin is this is where I cook, and this is my view from the kitchen.
Right. Right. You always have a view.
So
Right.
yeah, so it was kind of scary to go down and cook when you're solo sailing in the monohull.
Sure.
But
How many days,
the
Jerry, do you think it'll take to cross
oh, I
roughly?
think I should be able to do it in 3 weeks.
So from Florida to Norway, you mean?
No, I'll be going from Bermuda to Ireland.
Bermuda to Ireland, about 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I drank 3 cups of coffee just before you called. I'm gonna say goodbye, or else you're gonna have to
You're gonna
listen to me watering the
you're
ocean.
gonna water the ocean again?
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
get
don't. I don't. I try to use the head only for pooing, even though I got a water maker and I got a really nice electric heads and stuff.
See,
But
I can cut away your image so we don't have to, so you can do it in privacy. But your mic is still on. But
okay. Well, no. I mean, if you don't mind hearing a little water
no,
splashing, it
that's
doesn't
fine.
matter to me.
That's fine.
You just
We'll just cut out some of the imagery so it's not obvious to everybody.
no. I'll keep the camera facing this way instead of the other way.
Let's see if I can. Here, watch this. We'll get a.
We're good. It's a little windy today. You probably can't hear it anyway.
No, I can hear it
My
just fine.
friends,
I can hear it plain as day. Here, we'll
yeah.
get some applause for you.
Just while we were sitting out here, I had some friends pull in on their monohull, and they just set anchor. You got a nice boat from monohull. From monohull. Yeah. Have you ever sailed?
Yes, I used to sail on White Bear.
Wow!
Had a small boat, like a 12 or a 14. It wasn't terribly big. 2-person boat.
You know what I could strongly recommend is
I love sailing. I love sailing. It's
Minneapolis Sailing Club or whatever, MSC. They changed it. It's on what used to be called Calhoun,
no, you can
but now it's
you can still call it Calhoun. I can't pronounce the other name, and I refuse to say it.
Badea Makaska, yeah.
I call it Good Fucking Lake, Good Fucking Luck Lake. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but they got 23-foot Pearson ensigns, which are really cool. 23-foot full keel sloops.
Sure.
They have no engines, so you really learn to sail well because you know if you get caught out and you need to get back to shore, you scull with the rudder.
Right.
They're super fun to sail, and they race. They have races like every Wednesday night. Once you get your initial certification, and you can get your
what was that?
Do you have an ASA rating?
No.
American Sailing Association?
No.
I would recommend that if you want to, if it's safe to go into the city, if it isn't like fucking Civil War, that's a lot of fun. The MSC, Minnesota Sailing Community, or something like that.
You know what I'm most afraid of in this state is I'm not afraid of problems. I'm afraid of having to defend myself and then end in a legal battle that basically runs me dry and puts me in jail. That's what I'm afraid of in this damn state. Being in a situation where you might have to defend yourself, and then being a white male, it's like you provoked it. You're a gun nut. We're gonna make an example of you. We don't want people like you defending yourself. Blah blah blah. You know.
You know what? A lot of times, like my dinghy's hanging up here, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a padlock with a chain on it that hooks to the engine and the whole dinghy.
Yep.
There's a little bit of theft around here. It's worse in Panama than most places I've been, actually, except Florida. Florida's really bad.
Okay.
And but there's people get attacked on boats.
Sure.
And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but sometimes the attackers don't. Sometimes it doesn't end well for the attackers.
Mm-hmm.
Because people like I got this for coconuts. It's a machete, and I keep it right here because
what happens in the ocean stays in the ocean.
Well, it has to. So what happens is most of the sailboat people, if they get somebody like an attacker comes aboard their boat and they have to defend themselves, and the attacker ends up shark food, chum,
right?
Which happens a lot. I mean, not a lot, but I know a couple of people that actually had it happen to them.
Well, not only that, but most of these people that are attackers are people that people aren't looking for if they disappear. So it's like, how long would it be for somebody's like, actually, hey, what happened to my twerky buddy? You know,
you don't. If it happens, you don't
talk about
go
it
to the police. You know what people do is they just pull up anchor and go somewhere else.
Right.
quickly.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's most people get in trouble because they can't keep their fucking mouth shut. It's like, yeah, you just
Yeah.
those are the people
Yeah.
that
I
get
mean,
away. The
people,
people that get away with murder are the people that don't ever tell anybody that they murdered somebody. You know.
well, a lot of people, a lot of people have even more lethal defense capabilities than a machete. And, the,
Dude, you can throat
it's
punch.
just,
You can throat punch somebody and kill them.
yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 You know what? Imagine what a pen in somebody's eye would do.
Well, in the movies, it
uh,
never kills them. It just makes them really mad and they can't see out of that eye. You know.
well, that's because you don't just poke at them in the eye. Then when you get it stuck, you give it a good hammer.
Right.
Get it
Yeah.
right through that nerve
Palm,
hole,
palm fist or whatever, fist palm or whatever. Yeah.
and it's like game over. But yeah, it's like when they're taking your nail clippers away from you in the fucking airport and writing it down, you go, dude, do you realize I could fucking kill you more easily with that pen you got in your hand than a goddamn nail clipper?
And well, and
Uh,
look at all the things that really, really, knock a person down that we don't talk about as defense mechanisms. Palm fist to the nose, punch to the throat, knee to the groin. All that
yep,
stuff brings people down in seconds. Some of it will permanently
yep,
damage them. Sometimes it'll kill them. But it's like, we don't
yep.
want to broadcast that too loud because you might actually hurt somebody. And you watch these guys doing haymakers and shit. And it's like, what are you doing? You just want to sit there?
What what do they teach us about using deadly force, and what's your goal when you're protecting yourself?
Good God. Do
Uh,
you know how many conversations I have with people trying to set them straight on that? Why don't they shoot him in the leg? Why don't they shoot the tire out? It's like, you only shoot to kill, okay?
right, and if
There
you're
is no wounding in hopes that they back down. We got somebody that's jacked up on drugs that really elevates them to a higher level that they can ignore the pain like a German soldier in World War II. I mean, some of these people are jacked up. They just need to be put down. You can't be in a
put down so they don't get back up.
you can't be in a high stress situation and make calculated moves based on a few symptoms that you saw in a 3-second time window. You got to decide right in there, is my
Yeah,
life in danger? Boom, he's dead. That's it.
if you got nothing but your own fists and whatever, your hands to protect yourself, it's not an MMA fight.
Did I
You're
tell
not
you
you're not in a fucking octagon.
did I
You want that person to get down and never get up.
did I tell you about my gym buddy that was a bouncer at Grumpy's in Minneapolis?
No,
Okay. So
which
he's
which grumpies?
the one on oh damn.
Northeast?
Yeah, the one right across from Cedar Riverside. What's that street?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
The big
That's over by where I used to live.
right.
That's the downtown one.
I know, but what's the main
Yeah,
road that
yeah.
goes? It's the main street. What the hell is it?
Uh,
It's the 35 and blah blah blah
Jesus,
exit. It's the 35 and Lake. No, it's not Lake. What the hell is that?
Cedar Riverside exit.
Right, that's
Cedar
the
Riverside.
right. You go left,
Yeah,
you go into
it's
Cedar
Cedar
Riverside.
Avenue. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
is it Cedar?
Uh,
Okay. Anyways,
Riverside is the
Bobby,
one that
Bob,
goes by that.
Bobby and Steve's is right at the exit when you get off of 35. It's the
Yeah,
first one. It's the first one when you get across the bridge that fell down. It's the first exit going
it's
south.
yeah. It used to be on the. It used to be just north of the freeway from where Trackstar used to be.
No, not that far down. Going south on
No, yeah,
35,
no, no.
where the bridge fell down, going south on
Yeah, yeah,
35,
yeah. I know.
the next exit on the south side of the bridge, where the bridge was.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
you would take to go to the dome when the dome was still the thing.
yeah, yeah. I used to live. The dome
Anyways,
was. I was about.
anyway,
Yeah. I used
back to
to. The
Grumpy's.
dome
Back to
was.
Grumpy's. Fuck the dome.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
so
yeah.
here goes the ADHD part of us. let's talk about the dome now. Fuck the dome. It's gone. Anyways, so this dude was a bouncer at Grumpy's, and he was working the door, and a guy came up and he was pretty jacked up. And one of the rules is you don't let anybody in that's screwed up to begin with. Can't be high, can't be drunk, whatever. If you notice that, they're going to be a problem. So you turn them away and says, no, you can't be in here tonight. So the guy leaves, goes back to his car, comes back with a knife, tries attacking my bouncer buddy. He's got a collapsible baton, which he goes to first. Originally, his first thing is not to kill anybody, but to defend myself. They get an altercation. He gets backed up into bushes or a hedge or whatever, and he can no longer make a strike because he's just back against the wall. He drew his weapon, double tapped him right to the head. And law enforcement deemed it, justifiable, all that kind of stuff, whatever. And I don't think he got any charges for it. Dude's mentally fucked up from taking a life because he's not a experienced soldier or something like that. He's not somebody that's killed somebody before. But, the seriousness of it, it's like, I don't ever want to kill anybody. Will I? If I feel I have to, sure. But the way they portray stuff in the movies and media, it's like, it's a big deal to kill somebody, at least the first time. Maybe not the third or the ninth time. Maybe it kind of waters it down in your head and you just become a killing machine. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he was a gym buddy, so I saw him regularly. They just didn't see him anymore. He just parted ways, went a different gym, whatever. But he wore it. He couldn't just shake it. It's a big deal. But at the same
Washington
time,
is the street.
Washington. Exactly. Washington. Yep. Because that's the one that goes past the depot and Spaghetti Factory. And yeah.
Yep. Palmer's.
Anyways.
Well, it turns to Riverside by Palmer's, I think.
Sure.
Or Seidr. It's where.
Right. When it goes from east to west to south. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's that seven
anyway, sorry.
That's that seven corner. Isn't it 7 corners right there?
7 corners. Yeah.
Isn't that where it changes direction?
There used to be a bunch of clubs there.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Bullwinkle's
used to be there.
Wasn't Bullwinkle's also?
Yeah, a whole bunch of great clubs used to be there. I saw so many great bands there.
Uh-huh.
In that area. We used to play there. Palmer's, quite a lot.
Yeah, they're closing, or they already did close. I think they might be gone now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well. It's a sign to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember on True Romance when, what's his name? Tony Soprano guy, the actor. He was a gangster.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
He's talking about that guy, that Texas Tower shooter. He said that first dot was the real motherfucker. After that, it was easy.
Right.
Killing everybody.
Right.
Yeah, let's hope we don't have to do that because, we shouldn't. I think stay out of the scrum because they're going to try to get as many people killed just fighting each other as they can. And then, go out in the woods, pitch a tent, stock up on some food and water and stuff.
Yeah, I got
Minnesota.
I got my off-site location. Yeah, it's pretty well equipped. I need to get some solar on it. I needed to get to off-grid status. I've been looking at solar for it.
Solar's tough in Minnesota, though. Man, you should see the solar we get down here in the tropics. Holy
but what's
shit.
nice about it is when it's at peak, at least I can backfeed into the grid and then get money from my provider. And so then I can kind of run for free year round because at least in the winter, if I'm drawing anything, they've paid out to me during the summer,
If there's still a thing as commerce and international commerce, very soon China's coming up with this batteries that are like unbelievable, the power and storage they have. They've got tons of silver in them. That's why everybody's been going batshit about
what's
physical
that battery
silver.
what's the battery technology that Tesla's working on? Tesla's working on a new, cheaper battery. It's not necessarily so much
Yeah, I don't
better,
know.
but it's a lot less expensive and doesn't use all the rare earth shit or the rare minerals as much. You know, they're trying to make it a more affordable
I
battery to bring the cost
I
down
got
of
some
electric
friends.
cars.
I got some sailing friends who have a like a technology construction business in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
like building factories and stuff like that, for specifically for high tech kind of industry. And they were working on a proposal. I don't think they got the job, but their company was working on a proposal to build a new battery factory in Texas to use this build this technology for Tesla.
Sure.
I don't know if we're supposed to be saying that on there,
That's probably the
but
same
yeah.
thing
So I
because
think
I think Elon was talking about um basically a battery that's more based on aluminum. I think that's what the cheaper
in
material was.
silver,
Yeah,
maybe, but I think the new there's two technologies coming out of China that's a really big deal. That's part what a lot of the problems are right now. That's why a lot of the craziness is going on. Is that these N-type, I can't call them solar panels, and a new battery storage technology that just radically changes everything.
so you're talking about something that's more
Um,
efficient or cost effective, or how is it
yeah,
better? Okay,
uh, the like like the batteries are be like 1/10 the size of batteries in electric cars now, or maybe no more than 30%. But they'll be able to they'll hold charges that'll last for about 3,000 miles between recharging,
that
and
could
they take a
say
very short time to recharge.
that could save the electric car industry or give it some legs. Because yeah,
Yeah,
3,000 miles. That means you could drive it a week without charging it for your daily, your daily life. Most people.
or if you're in the city a month,
Well, right, right,
or
right.
or 3 months, you're
Yeah,
just
I
going
mean,
a short distance.
and that's probably the only way I'd ever
Uh,
get electric cars if I was off grid and I charged it myself. I'd hate to pay the power company to fill up my fuel tank, but
yeah, the but the thing is, there won't be an industry building this shit because China. The reason China, it's the gold and silver market has really plunged since the war, and people are wondering why because it normally doesn't do that. But we are so far from normal right now. The reason it's acting abnormally is because all the sovereigns and like the countries and the large banks and stuff that are that have been buying all the gold. Silver's been getting bought up for electrical technology, and gold has been bought up by banks and countries because they're getting scared of the U.S. Treasury because they're starting to doubt the U.S. ability to service its debt.
sure.
And China started that, like they quit buying our debt in like 2014, and they started selling it in 2018. But but the sovereigns right now are sitting on the sidelines. They're just sitting on their money now because they don't. Everything's so chaotic. They want to see. They don't know what. They're waiting to see how the dust settles for this. If it's going to be a because, like I said, Iran has been allowing oil to be shipped if it's purchased with yuan instead of petrodollar.
Right.
And if world and China's been sitting on all the gold and silver because they're the main mover of physical gold and silver in Shanghai, and they passed regulations that increased the tax on, made it like prohibitively expensive to sell gold and silver outside the country. That's
Mm-hmm.
because they want to keep it all. They want to keep the silver inside for sure because they want to have a monopoly on this new technology. So you'll be able to buy an electric car that goes 3,000 miles between charges, It has batteries that can be recharged quickly and easily, but it'll be a Chinese car, BYD or something like that. It ain't be
It
a Chevy or a Mopar.
right.
So that's why they lock down. That's why they pass those regulations that lock down the physical gold and silver inside the country. It made it. It's still. You can still make a lot more money selling your gold and silver in China, but you can't. No matter what, you can't get it out. I mean, if you sell it, you're going to make a lot more. Like, like I think silver was like 130 an ounce. Now it's still that's the spread between the two is still like $10-$20 an ounce. Um, so I think it's like $96 or something now in Shanghai, and it costs about 50 cents an ounce to ship it, which is a lot when you're shipping,
Right.
a million ounces.
Right.
But that's $500,000 in shipping costs. But
Right.
if you can make an extra, if you can make an extra, uh, 30 million, $25 million selling it, it's, money well spent.
Well,
So it'll be
crude
things are
oil
going to,
still crude oil still holding under 100, just barely.
yeah, yeah, and that shows you about markets. So what people aren't taking into account is that's still almost double what it was not too long ago.
It
It was
was
at
$67.
50
It was 67 before we dropped bombs on Iran the day
for
before.
Brent, for Brent crude. That's Brent crude. Brent crude today is probably around 110.
What's Brent crude?
That's that's what that's Norwegian North Sea oil, Brent crude. It's the highest quality oil on earth. It's the most energy dense oil on earth. They talk about the
Okay,
sour crude from
Brent crude is
Venezuela,
106.
and Brent crude was 67 in the end of February. I keep track on Brent crude because I have a vested interest in following the economics in Norway.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, bombs were dropped like on February 28th. Yeah, Brent was $70 on February 26th.
Oh, it's gone up. It was
Yeah.
about last time
Middle
I checked before the war
yeah,
was about 66.
middle February it was still $70. Yeah. Let's see. Last time it was 66. Let's see. Let's go back. January 28th.
Yeah, Victoria came January 15th, so I didn't really check the markets much after that.
January 14th it was 65.
That's about the last time I checked, January 14th.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
now
remember it being around, it was like
oh, it
65
just
something,
dropped
so I just
down.
rounded up
It
to
just
66.
rounded down to 105.9, so we're under 106 by a dime.
You know, that's all well and good, but uh, that's a distraction from the urea. Because people are just think how gobsmacked people are going to be when
Dude,
they're hungry.
life is a distraction. If you killed yourself, you wouldn't have any distractions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Think, think about people that are complaining about the price of filling up their diesel tank in their truck. Think about think about what it's going to be like when they fucking go to the grocery store and there's no food.
Yeah, and that's what I've tried to explain to my Russian girlfriend is why do you want to live in a dense because she has her own place. Why do you want to live in a dense popular urban area? Because when shit hits the fan, people just start stealing from each other And you being this 120-pound white girl, they'll take all your stuff and not think 2 seconds about it. You're an easy target. I says that's what people steal from is easy targets. They don't want restrictions. They don't want anything to get in the way. I mean, arming yourself, a dog, people in the early, when the people just truly look for the easiest pickings, all that stuff is a deterrent, Nobody likes to break into a house with a barking dog. Not that it deters everybody, but there's a lot easier people to pick on, all that stuff makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's like, dude, why do you want to?
yeah.
She lives in Maplewood, and Maplewood's just going to crap. Maplewood's just a crap hole now. And it's like, and she lives near Maplewood Mall, and I'm like, get the hell out of. I mean, they literally had a murder in her building, first time ever, and it was like a few months ago. And then she tries to minimize. It's like, well, yeah, but they knew each other, so it's not like it was random. I'm like, why does that? Why? How does that make it better? You're attracting that element, and there's nothing being done to deter that element. So that's what your neighborhood is turning into because they're allowing it to turn into that. They're not. And now she's seeing raids in her building where she sees cops staging in body armor and stuff like that. She goes, what do you think they're doing? I go, there's a felon there with an arrest warrant, and they have reason to believe he's in the building, and they're getting ready to go knock a door down. Really? I'm like, yes. I go,
Yep.
you really want to live there? Is that, oh God. But man, you want to deal with stubborn people. Think Germans are bad. Deal with Russians.
Yeah. Whoever.
Oh, Lordy.
Uh,
They're more stubborn than
I,
Russia.
yeah, but they're good people to have your back when shit gets weird.
Yeah, they are loyal
Uh,
for the most part. They're not easily
and
swayed.
they're pretty tough.
Eh,
I would say a Russian girlfriend's less vulnerable than your typical Maplewood mall rat.
yeah, probably. But yeah, I don't know.
I
I wish
I had a I had a this guy he had a Russian mail order bride. He lived next door to me, and
those were the good old days.
uh, yeah,
What was the
it was
peak of
in when
that?
I lived
80?
in Maple.
What was the peak of that? 80s, 90s?
This would have been in the 2000 in the 2007, 2008, that era.
That was her job when
And
she lived back in Russia. I
they,
told you that she was the translator
yeah.
because she knew English
Well,
really well.
this woman was, God,
So
she was gorgeous, and he was just a troll. He looked like a giant hemorrhoid, idiot. I mean, practically retarded, and uh, and stupid and mean too. And
sure.
he was awful to her, and she was gorgeous, and they had a kid, and uh, and one night things just went crazy. The cops came, and apparently she tried to burn down his house, which was right next door to my house. And after that, he had a restraining order that she couldn't come back. She took the kid and left. But he pushed her too far, and she was a she was she was this she was very athletic. I think she did a lot of yoga. She worked out a lot. She was maybe 120 pounds, maybe pretty close to my height, and just 5'10" maybe, and 5'9" ish. I really liked her, but I was married, so it
Right.
wasn't like I flirted with her or anything.
Right.
She was just a nice neighbor, but she struck me as very sad, and I didn't talk to her about personal stuff, but he struck me
That's
as a
Russians. That's
turd.
Russians in general. Oh my
Yeah.
God. When she shows me pictures and stuff, it's like, no, we don't smile for photos. That's not even part of their culture until recent times. You look at all their photographs from back when she's a kid. Oh, what a bunch of stoic looking, straight faced, unhappy people. Maybe, well, whatever. But those were oppressive times also in their history. But I don't know. It's that culture.
She was 120 at best. He was maybe 280, 290. and he wasn't just fat. He was he had a business. He did like he was actually kind of he had muscles and stuff. He worked. He was a working man,
Right.
and he but whatever happened between them, he was the one that called the cops, and she was the one that got a restraining order put on her. You know.
Oh man, that reminded me. One of the girls I dated after my divorce, she was in our motorcycle circle. You might know her. I'm not going to mention her, but anyways, she was in a situation with I think it was the guy she was married to, and they were literally fist fighting in the front yard of their house. And she got arrested because he had marks on his face, and it's like, and that's what I've heard is typically the
Yeah.
rule. If you see somebody with injuries, the other person goes. Doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
Or
So that's why
visible
you throw
or
them in the
visible
ocean.
injuries. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, good
we got
times.
saltwater crocodiles around here. Yeah. Well. Yeah. We're in our third hour now.
2 hours and
Are we?
23 minutes.
Yeah.
2:24.
I should probably get to work here. I got a bunch of stuff to do to get the boat ready.
Uh-huh.
I've I can maybe do some laundry. I got crew coming in. I bought new sheets, and Victoria told me I have to wash them before I let them sleep on them because they'll smell like like they do when they come out of the store.
Right.
But so I will. I'll wash the sheets. Hopefully, it'll be dry because I think smelling like a store would be not as bad as no sheets at all because they're still hanging out on the goddamn rails on the lifelines drying.
Right.
But we'll see. Uh, yeah. Anyway, own your personal sovereignty. Stay strong and safe. Stay out of the scrum, and we'll see each other on the other side.
Uh-huh. Sounds
I'll
good,
be
buddy.
busy for a while. I'll be busy for a while. Be I would say a good 2-3 weeks before I get to a place where I can talk again. That's why today's going to be my last video
Yep.
podcast for a while.
Today is what,
And
March 20th. So end of April
yeah,
sometime. Mid to late April.
and yeah, I'll know. I'll be it'll be I should be in a place hopefully by about April 15th at the latest, but it depends on the weather. We got northerlies coming in, and it's like it's we sure had the shit hit us last night and this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the the so that's the thing about sailboats. Schedules dependent on the
Right.
schedules
No,
are dependent on the weather.
right.
Hey,
No.
it's good talking to you, and I better get going here. I'm getting a bunch of messages. I'm going to have to.
Okay,
My
Darwin.
repair guys might be. I'll tell you
Sound
the story. I got hit by a drunk guy the other day and did some serious damage to my boat, but they paid to fix it. So now I'm just waiting
sure.
for the repair to be finished because
Sure.
would have been done by now, but for the weather. All right,
Sure.
take care, and
Okay.
I'll let
Good.
you know when I'm in a safe place again.
Sounds good. Have a safe
When
trip.
I'm in a place where Starlink doesn't cost me like $100 an hour, which it
Right.
does like out in the ocean. All right, talk to you
Sounds good.
later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Anyways, that was Darwin. He's on his way to Norway eventually. He's see if I get my headphones. There we go. Now I can hear myself again. So that was Darwin Hallstrom. He's a writer. He's living in the Caribbean currently on a sailboat. If you were to actually make it this far, I see we got 0 people watching live. So this will be for anybody in the future that stumbles onto this. God bless you if you make it to this far of a video. 2.5 hours of just two old guys rambling on about the world and politics and everything else. But anyways, Darwin is going to set sail from, I think, from Bermuda to Northern Ireland here in the next week or so on a sailboat. which that's pretty brave. That's even with today's technology, that's a big trip. So I'll just wrap it up here. If you enjoy this kind of content, please give us a like, comment, subscribe, any of that fun stuff. I'm going to sign off. I need a break. Nobody's watching anyways, so I need some lunch. I got stuff to do today. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.